shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like light, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war.
And now, welcome to the stage, your host of the Black News Beat, Dr. Kimeka Campbell!
Well, we have a lovely audience here in the studio tonight. Welcome to the Black News Beat. I am so glad to have everybody here tonight. Welcome to everyone online. Let's take a moment and let's see what's going on in-house here. We have some very special people to announce, as we always do. So let's shout out first. Let's shout out Griffin at the bar. Woo! As I always like to say, we are at Open Stage. This is our home. We are in season 4. Did y'all know that? We are in season 4. This is amazing to me. We have been going strong here. It's been a wonderful year so far. We have some wonderful shows, and we are so excited. And let's see who's on the equipment over here. It's Husband. It's Basir. Now you online can't see who I'm talking about, but that's why you need to come in studio and be here at Open Stage. We are in the cabaret area. You still have time to come down if you want. We also have our house manager for the night, Yanni Williams, is here. Woo! And checking to make sure the sound is perfect, also helping with the lights, Josh is here. So we have a wonderful team. John's also here in the back. Finn's here. They're making calls for the Open Stage Gala. Again, we are at Open Stage. This is our theater, our home where we do the show. So we are happy to be in the space tonight. And we have a lot to cover tonight. We always have a lot to cover. We are actually in AAPI month, Asian American Pacific Islander month. Next month coming up is Gun Violence Awareness Month. So we're going to start some conversations around that. We have, actually the show is 3 men tonight. I know. So that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I love it. I don't think we've had an all-male show yet, have we? No. I don't think so. I think this is the first one. I like that. Okay. So this is going to be great. So take a moment, share the stream. If you are on the Book of Faces, share the stream. If you're here in the audience, share the stream. Are you following the Black News Beat page? We are on the Instagram. We are on the Facebooks. We are on YouTube. You can follow my page also on LinkedIn. Those are all the places where we stream the show. So you should follow all those places and help us get to, we are at 8,000 followers on Facebook. Help us get to 10,000. We get more money when it's 10,000, all right? And all the proceeds from the show that we earn on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, they all go back into supporting young professionals of color Greater Harrisburg. So, thank you. So, please give us a follow. Thank you all for hanging with me and all my shenanigans on the Book of Faces. Y'all know how I like to do. So we thank you very much. Okay, so let's get into it. It is Asian American Pacific Islander Month, and I have a little fun fact for you. Does anybody know who changed the name of this month in 2009? Does anybody know? Until 2009, this celebratory month was named Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, APAHM. President Obama decided to change the celebration's official name to be more inclusive and observe more Asian American and Pacific Islander contributions to the United States. I did not know that. Thought it was pretty cool. And we love Obama, right, over here at this show. It is a nonpartisan show, but we still love Obama. He was one of the best presidents on the whole earth. Okay, and I'll be saying this a couple times tonight. Don't forget about Juneteenth HBG. 24 days till our first event. Wow. And we are supporting also other events that are happening during this time. 2 of the wonderful young men who are here tonight are going to tell you about their amazing events that they're doing in the community. So we can't wait to hear about that. So as I say their names, we have some wonderful guests tonight. Please clap it up for them. So please welcome Mr. Christopher K. is here. He's going to be talking to us about drama on the West Shore, honey. I can't wait. Please also give it up for Mr. Corey Dupree. Corey's going to be talking to us about his wonderful, wonderful Layers of Black History Gala and a really important initiative that he successfully did this past week. I can't wait to talk about it. And last but definitely not least, we'll be talking to Mr. Tone Cook. Yes. Tone is going to be talking to us about his excellent event that he throws every year, and we're going to learn more about that. But before we hear about these wonderful events, listen, we got to sweep these streets. There's too much going on in the city, in the country, in the world. Let's sweep these streets and see what's going on. I know you heard this one, alliteration for that ass. Oh, this is an adult show. We cuss on the show. I'm sorry. Alliteration for that ass. Say it with me. Bleach. Bleach, blonde, bad build, bush body, okay? And how it rolled off the tongue of the Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett, who coolly delivered the most effective comeback of the year, which quickly became an astoundingly assertive and astronomical form of alliteration heard around the globe. Boom. And what do we say in the community? Don't come for me unless I what? Okay. That was her first mistake. Okay. Aimed at the notoriously gregarious Marjorie Taylor Greene after Greene made a sophomore comment about Jasmine Crockett having fake eyelashes. The meeting became a battle of words that halted the discussion on whether or not to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt. The embarrassing moment even had Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez involved in the verbal fray. She called twice for her words to be stricken from the record because of what she was saying, Marjorie Taylor. But all this did not deter the fact that Republicans are moving ahead with contempt charges with Garland. In fact, the only thing the insult towards Jasmine Crockett highlighted is the gaping divide between Democrats and Republicans continues to widen, and that black women in high positions still have to gain the respect they're due. That was something else, okay? Yes?
She trademarked that phrase yesterday.
Yes, she did. So that was Griffin. Thank you, Griffin. I mean, you know, she's trademarked the phrase, and she should, because I want her to make all the money off of it, okay? Especially because they truly treated her like what was funny about it, she asked it as a point of clarification, which is so brilliant. It's so brilliant. Just to make sure. I just want to make sure. Before I go off, I just want to make sure what the rules are here. I appreciate that very much as somebody who also likes to do a little clapping back from time to time. Okay, so this one is a Harrisburg story. Atlas really did shrug. It seems after many years, the famed Hudson building, located at 2101 North 6th Street in Uptown Harrisburg, finally has come upon a bit of traction. In a recent news report posted on biznewspa.com, states that the former dilapidated property that once sat vacant for many, many years and was once considered an eyesore was purchased for a whopping, are you ready? Can I get a drum roll? $14.5 million. This is the new, what they're referring to as the Atlas building now, that was the Hudson building before, to aid in its progression. Previous owner Adam Mouse of development firm Mighty recently sold the building to Pennsylvania Social Equity Land Trust. Mouse had recently purchased the building for $425,000 before pouring $9 million into external renovations that included new windows, updated parking, and a new roof. So, what's the overall plan and timeline for a project that seems to fall behind on its original deadline for completion? It appears there's some new hope. According to Biz News PA, the updated building will house the Camp Curtin Commissary, a potential remedy for the aforementioned and somewhat mythical food desert claims. The project includes a fresh food market, a commercial kitchen, and office space. Only time will tell if the residents of Uptown Harrisburg will finally have the much-needed community hub they deserve. So let's keep an eye on that. Has anybody been by the Atlas building lately? No? No, but anybody know what building I'm talking about? Yep. Okay, all right, yes.
Just for clarity, YPOC did do some work for that original group, holding interest meetings.
Yes.
Earlier with some of the original planners and even some of the people who are on the board. So it'll be very interesting to see
how this progressed.
That's right. We actually they actually named us in that article and said we did that. So that's very interesting. So let's see how that goes. And we did that because we're very interested, as we always are, in making sure that the community has a voice in what is happening in their neighborhoods and make sure that we gather people who we know and we understand should be at the table for these things. So the board is filled with some really good people. Mr. Rob Schoaf's on the board. Erica, I forgot her last name, is on the board. Kevin Dolphin is on the board. Mary Powell is on the board. So we have some good people on that board, I think, that will actually turn this into the community asset that is very needed. Awesome. Now let's talk about this. Full circle innovation? Okay, let's take our street sweeper to 2201 Woodlawn Street on the Allison Hill section of the city, where in the cut lies a new and exciting project sure to take Harrisburg on the map in regard to entertainment and broadcast media. Known as Full Circle Music, this project will include a recording studio, a record label, ad agency, and a radio station. It is the brainchild of renowned artist and photographer Dion Renee. She's one of our faves. She's one of our faves. The ambitious facility will hold an open house and grand opening event on May the 24th and 25th, complete with special guests, Queen Diambi of the Democratic Republic of Congo, who she got to meet when she painted a picture of her, and musical guests, Me and Us band featuring Joy Christos and Red 18. Be sure to show your full support for this exciting new catalyst for a stronger, more progressive arts and entertainment community. We're very happy about that. And if you haven't seen Dion Renee's work, she did a Woman King painting, and she got to meet the Queen Diambi of the Democratic Republic of Congo when she did that painting. So we had her on the show, we showcased her artwork, and seeing her now come into this wonderful new venture, we're very excited, very excited. So now as we move into media and melanin, which is one of my favorite ones, okay? Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks, then you should have heard about the Mean Poetry Contest. No? That has had our country in a chokehold. In the world of rap, where egos clash and bars clash harder, the Drake versus Kendrick beef serves as a modern-day lyrical showdown. It all started in 2013, when Kendrick, hip-hop's Shakespeare, dropped his control verse calling out Drizzy and others, challenging them to step their game up. Drake, our sensitive rap Casanova, took it personally, firing back subtly in tracks like The Language. Kendrick, not one to shy away, returned the favor in the BET cypher, calling Drake a fake. The feud simmered when both artists traded veiled disses like rappers. Then on Kendrick's 6 p.m. in New York, he jabbed at Kendrick, while Kendrick's King Kunta hinted at Drake's ghostwriting scandals. In the end, it wasn't a full-blown war, but a series of high-profile rap darts. The fans reveled, the artists profited, and hip-hop stayed winning, proving beef is sometimes best served with a side of ambiguity. Now, I don't know. Paul wrote this one. Was it ambiguous to y'all? Because it seemed pretty not ambiguous in that beef. How many of you guys think Drake won? How many of y'all? Oh, good.
It's probably A minor.
How many of y'all think Kendrick won this round of the beef? Yeah, a lot of people do. So I will reserve my opinion, but I will say that I have been bumping Not Like Us for at least a month. What? Yes.
For my second hand raise.
Yes, thank you. I was like, why is he just talking?
Literally since Not Like Us came out, since We Don't Trust You came out, I wake up in the morning and I search Kendrick Lamar Drake.
Absolutely.
So today I heard the most interesting take from this. Now that we have time to sit with Kendrick,
yes,
which they need to be sat with for a
they
second,
do.
as opposed to somebody else's lyrics, Drake.
He said Drake's lyrics aren't deep.
This into the Mr. Morale narrative.
Yes.
He's taking on aspects of who he did J. Cole and Drake at the time to release that, and they are the only two who would take personal offense to that. So like you said, after Control, after King Kunta, after that entire, he matured with Mr. Morale, and then said, I am an ambiguous person, I'm a bipolar person, I'm going to slide back and choose violence. Which he said in the bars too.
Yeah, he certainly did.
You know, just all this to say, another point for Drake's immaturity, he chose to take it personally rather than what it was, a narrative point.
And guess what? He wrote the first defense track in history because of that. So, he certainly did. So staying in the world of hip hop, and thank you, Griffin, with the history lesson. Thank you so much. Clap it up for Griff at the bar. Not just a bartender, also a DJ and a hip hop historian. These white guys, what did they just, okay. Staying in the world of hip hop, now y'all know we had to talk about this, but did he? Yes, the hell he did. Yes, he did do it. Yes. Diddy did it. So in a plot twist straight out of hip hop soap opera, Diddy, the rap mogul turned motivational speaker turned abuser, dropped an apology video that left the internet buzzing. Now y'all remember what he said. How could they make this stuff up about me? I've never done anything like this. Only for the video to show him kicking this girl on the floor, repeatedly dragging her by her hair. Very scary stuff. Apparently, the King of Ciroc had a bit too much of his own product and let loose on Cassie, which was caught on video, thankfully. I say thankfully, but I also hate that she had to relive that, watching that happen, you know, having it played over and over again in the media. That's gotta be just very awful. He then took to social media to give us a dry ass apology. I mean, y'all, this was mid-January, ain't lotioned in 5 days type of dry, okay? The video was part confession, part therapy session, and all classic Diddy. And in true hip-hop fashion, the apology was about as sincere as Jay-Z's retirement, heartfelt in the moment, but likely forgotten by the next album drop. And thus, the saga of Diddy's digital drama added another chapter to the annals of rap law. Listen, there's a lady on the TikToks, and she thinks he's being extorted. She thinks that somebody released the video because they have more videos of him doing worse things. And because he didn't pay, just like he did with Cassie, where he didn't pay before she filed the lawsuit, right? Then immediately paid, didn't believe she was gonna do it, filed the lawsuit. They think the same thing's happening. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out next, honey. We'll see. I don't know. In the latest twist, now we're going on to political drama. Hip hop's own Cardi B declared she's sitting out the 2024 election. Ooh. Sending shockwaves from the Bronx to the Beltway, the outspoken rapper, known for her no-filter commentary, dropped this bombshell in a candid video that left fans and politicals clutching their pearls. Cardi's reason? She's fed up with the political circus. She compared politicians to washed-up rappers still trying to drop mixtape nobody asked for. She might as well have said, y'all can keep your rigged reality show, I'm out. The internet, of course, erupted like a Cardi concert. Supporters cheered her on while critics cried foul, insisting that every vote counts. Cardi, ever the unapologetic queen, doubled down, saying she's more focused on real change in her community than the DC drama. In true Cardi fashion, she's made her mark, proving once again that in music and politics, she's always the headline act. I'm mixed. I think people who withhold their vote are trying to make a statement and are trying to use their voice in a different way, but I am a diehard, we have to vote person. I believe we have to make our voices heard. I believe, especially in Harrisburg, and reason why Cardi's statement is so important is because the black vote was down in the primary, voting overall was down. People are not trying to vote for certain presidential candidates. They don't want to do it. They're seeing more of the same. But I still believe it's important for us to cast our votes because change happens on the local level. Local elections are most important, and we have to vote. So that's what I have to say about that. I mean, you know, Cardi could do her thing, but I'm hoping our community is getting out to vote. Whew, my goodness. So this show, we've made it through Media and Melanin, and I want to tell you about some events that are coming up in the community. We have our happy hour for AAPI month at Susquehanna Art Museum. We are partnering with the Harrisburg AAPI group, or HAPPY, and we're gonna have some food, we're gonna have some nice little drinks. Y'all should come by and hang out with us. It is gonna be the last Thursday of this month, I believe it's next Thursday, and we're gonna be at Susquehanna Art Museum from 5 to 7. Juneteenth coming quickly, dun 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 dun. Please check out all of the Juneteenth HBG events at juneteenthhbg.com. We have a full week of events for you, starting on the 15th all the way to 21st. We also have the Layers of Black History Gala, which is also going to be on the 15th. We have the Father's Day Cookout, which is going to be on Sunday the 16th, and that's all going to be wrapped up. Even though we are different organizations doing big things, we are all coming together to make sure that we wrap these awesome events. So please, please, please come out and support. We really want you guys to do that. Please share when you see the advertisements on Facebook, please share them. Share the Cookout. Share Layers of Black History. Corey always sells out, so I don't know how much sharing he needs, but you should still share anyway to support and raise awareness. And definitely share our Juneteenth HBG events. We have the concert with Ghostface Killah and Jim Jones. We have Angela Rye as our keynote for the summit in the evening of the 18th. We have a whole week of amazing events, from the Juneteenth Jubilee on City Island to a Soma Block Party to our Black Arts event, Ode to Black Women, on Monday at WITF. We have our Black Performance Arts and Music Night at Narcisse Theater on Thursday the 20th. I mean, check out the website. We have so much good stuff. JuneteenthHBG.com, JuneteenthHBG.com. Share that. And please come out to hang out with us at the events. Woo! Well, we made it through the first segment. And I am excited to tell you that we'll be back with our first guest right after these messages. We'll see you soon. No, you sit right there.
Oh, you can't hear me, huh? How about now? Oh, this your moment, ayy. Not right now. If you a hating nigga, please pipe down. Cause I don't know if it's we the beat, but this bitch too loud. I was down bad, I ain't had no cash. Now these hoes mad cause the camera lights flash. I was down bad, I ain't had no cash. Now these hoes mad cause the camera lights flash. Bitch, I'm a boss. I only focus on comments and stress when I'm taking a loss. Round of applause. I see these hoes double back as soon as they see what it.
All right. Well, we are back, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far. We really have been doing a lot of work in the community with various community partners. This is one of my longtime community partners. Please welcome Corey Dupree. Hi, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing good, Dr. K. How
How's
you doing?
it going?
You know?
I feel like I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
Because if I'm not in my house, I'm not in the state.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why y'all think I'm always outside.
Because you are always outside, but not here. You be outside, but not in our outside.
No, I'm
Okay,
just doing the work, just like you.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So I want you to tell us about, first I want to talk, before we get into Layers of Black History, I want to talk about the amazing event that you had last week. It got crazy news coverage. I had so much FOMO because I wasn't here. But I was on a boat, but it's another story.
Yeah.
But people, as soon as I got back into town, folks were like, why weren't you at Corey's event? So tell us about what it was and how it went.
Yeah, so last year I was blessed to go ahead and finish second out of 70 plus black and brown owned businesses for M&T Bank's Multicultural
Yes.
Business Incubator.
Say that one more time.
There were over 70 businesses,
Wow.
and I finished second in the pitch competition that they had for M&T Bank's Multicultural Business Incubator.
Congratulations!
So, yeah.
I didn't think he said it so fast. I wanted to make sure we heard that you finished second out of 70 people, 70
Yeah.
groups, 70 organizations.
Yes, and I actually came up with it because we had a pitch. Our classes were on Wednesdays. We had to submit like our pitch on a Thursday, and I had come up with a business concept that Tuesday. Yeah, so I was originally going to pitch the layers of Black history, so my foundation, and then I thought about what is my why, like. What problems can I solve? And that's with any business, right? Like that's Black NEWSBEAT. You're solving a problem of making sure the right stories are being disseminated, how they're being shared, how they're being told. And I just thought about me as a father of a Black boy, right? And I was 23 years old. Parenting alone is hard, right?
Wow.
But I was a baby raising a baby, right? And obviously I wasn't doing it by myself, but collectively I needed a community, and I didn't truly have the community that a lot of my peers might have had, and just me, myself, I was like, all right, how do I solve this problem? So, full circle, I started a conference for men raising Black boys. And now when I say that, what do you think? Like, who do you think's invited to that cookout when I say men raising Black boys?
Men raising Black boys?
Yeah.
The men that are raising Black boys?
Right, so when everybody has this preconceived notion that they're only Black and brown men raising Black and brown
Well,
boys.
that's not true.
Right, exactly. But there's adoptive, there's foster.
Absolutely.
I went to Milton Hershey, as you know.
Yes.
So I had a house father who was white. I had my biological father who was in and out of prison. And then I had my uncle who was amazing, you know, and that was like another pops to me. So who was a gay Black man, so growing up in the 80s and 90s, you could imagine how he had to navigate life and space, and taught me how to navigate those lives and spaces. So
I don't want to interrupt you, but I do to ask you a
Interrupt me,
question.
girl.
So you said you started raising your son when you were 23.
Yes.
So you're still 23 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I'm 34 now.
Oh,
so,
my crazy
So he's 9.
And he's so cute.
He's amazing, right? And I learned Admirai when I was 20. So I was 20 and 23, and I didn't have any true role model. I didn't have a community. Like I was like, dang, I would love to go ahead. Now you're seeing all these different pop-ups like Daddies with strollers in Texas, and I didn't have that. So I wanted to build that for individuals who are raising Black and brown boys. And regardless of what you look like, we know that raising Black and brown boys is completely different than raising other ethnicities. The conversations that we have to have. I mean, just, you know, at the end of March, I had to go and deal with my daughter being called an N-word by her peer.
Yeah.
And this is the second time before she's even 13, and my son's already had to deal with that when he was 5. So how do we have those conversations, right? How do we prepare white individuals to have those conversations with their mentees, right? How do we go ahead and prepare individuals to understand that systemic racism is a thing? But also, how do we go ahead and prepare them to go ahead and get prepared for the workforce? To understand that the tables aren't always levied your way, but even deeper conversations. How do we talk about consent, right? How do we talk about what relationships truly look like? So all things that I know I never truly had, and bringing together professionals to come to a professional setting, which is why I partnered with a nonprofit in Philly that I did that provides a free mental health therapy services to Black and brown boys.
That's wonderful. This is amazing work.
It's all right.
I mean, it's a little bit more than all right, but okay. So how many people attended?
So we had over 65 registrants and attendees.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's to tell you, first thing out the gate, you know it's needed.
Absolutely.
You know it's needed.
And we were blessed to have amazing sponsors to be able to go ahead. It was really supposed to be a retreat. I was growing up, I was in Boy Scouts, I was in all these different nature programs, went to camp. So I know what nature does for you when you're outside of your element, right? If you're in the hood, even if you're in the suburbs, right? Regardless of where you grow up, being able to go ahead and just be out in nature and kind of just have that peace, calm, serenity, and have that retreat ambiance, that camp atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Just redefining what it means to be a man or a male, without the toxicity, without any BS or like even high level religious components, is extremely important to get into vulnerability.
Yeah.
So I wanted 50 people there, 40 people, right? And then we're blessed to go ahead and be able to exceed that.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations. That's big work. So on to more great work that he's doing. So your organization, Layers of Black History, has been getting books into the hands of folks in Central Pennsylvania and beyond. Why is literacy so important to you?
So for me personally, I can remember skipping lunch to go read books. Like I would literally, like, you know, when sometimes when you're economically disadvantaged, as we might say, we say you eat sleep, right?
Absolutely.
To me, I can remember libraries being a safe space. I can also remember not seeing the first person that looks like me or even sounds like me until I was in 5th or 6th grade when I read Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. And that was because the movie with Morgan Freeman. So that was just like, oh man, all right, there are characters that do. My grandma did an amazing job of making sure growing up that we had everything that we needed. But at the Scholastic book fairs, it was just like, all right, what's more priority? None of those characters look like me. The Goosebumps, Harry Potter, some of my favorites, Chronicle of Narnia, Redwall series,
Yes.
they just didn't look like me. So making sure right now that not just my child or black and brown kids, but also white kids to understand they're not the only ones inside of these stories. And making sure that there are astronauts, making sure that there are soldiers, making sure that there are firefighters, or that there are fantasy characters, right? So that's extremely important to me. And everybody, regardless, all my events are from age 0 to 100. So I encourage everybody to go ahead and read, because that's what opens up your creativity and your imagination.
I love it. I love that. I remember reading being a refuge as well. I read every single Babysitters Club book.
Yeah.
I read every V.C. Andrews book. That was a little racy. I was reading my mom got a box of books from like somewhere.
Yeah.
And now that I think back, it was probably a box of books that some other family was throwing away because these books were they were such smuts.
They were on edge.
So bad. But it got me reading, and it got me reading about different characters. And I remember I didn't realize all these characters, they were like white people on the front, but in my mind, all the characters were black.
Yeah.
Everybody was black, right? And so it was just funny when I was like, oh, that's right. This is supposed to be, a white person. And so my mind kind of just did that. I kind of was just like, beautiful woman, she's black and she's whatever. So reading as a refuge is a huge thing. So you're originally from Massachusetts. We were just talking about this because you don't be outside in the city yet that much. But you are from Massachusetts, but you were also a Milton Hershey kid. What is it about your background that makes you passionate for the kids that are coming after you, your children? In addition to we just talked about reading as a refuge, what else kind of spurs you on, especially in present day? For some kids, not only is reading not a refuge, but they are not reading books at all.
So I was on 2nd at I think it's the Sunoco, right on 2nd and I can't remember the cross street, by the governor's mansion.
Oh yes, I don't know what that is. What?
McClay, right?
Oh, McClay,
Yeah.
because I will never remember that.
So it was maybe last week, and my friends called me like the traveling librarian.
I love that.
Inside of my trunk, I always have books. And there were about 4 young men who, first of all, I was like, why aren't y'all in school? They was like, we finished testing, we did. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay, okay.
But they were like, can I clean your windows and can I gas your car up? And I was like, you can. And then I'll cash app you or something, but you all first have to go ahead and come to the back and pick out books. So they picked out graphic novels that I had on hand, because it is extremely important for them to unlock and understand that they are able to do anything.
Absolutely.
Right, so we sat down, spoke about just entrepreneurial and just got connected. So now we go back and forth on IG. I check up on them, make sure like that they're good. But
That's wonderful.
I share that story to say, if anybody, so many other people, I'd seen like about 3 or 4 other cars come up while I was there and after I was there, and they had asked, right? And it's because of the perception that they have of our black and brown babies,
Absolutely.
right? Just because they're in sweats and they have the do-rag on and the locks are out, they're out here hustling, right?
Yes.
And they came up, sir, may I please go ahead and do your car? And if you had given them the time, the moment, you will go ahead and understand that these kids are just out here being entrepreneurs.
Absolutely right.
So when it comes to literacy, it expands your vocabulary, it expands your understanding, it expands so much. And not only was I attending at Milton Hershey, I went back and I worked at the school.
Yes.
And I just wrapped up assignments to where I was emotional behavior support for 2nd and 3rd grade. So I challenge every single student who's just like, I don't like reading. All right, well, how about this book? All right, Mr. D, that ain't that bad, right? So for them to go ahead and see themselves, and white kids don't truly know, right? They're just reading books.
Yeah.
But for Mariah and for Corey, my kids, they're like, I can see myself.
Yes.
So that's extremely important for me.
Absolutely right. So go ahead and tell us about your wonderful event. Give us a little backstory and tell us what we can look forward to this year.
Yeah, so this is, are we on year 3?
I think we're on year 3.
Yeah, we're on year 3. So this is year 3. We call it, Ashley Smith has coined it as big layers.
Big layers, baby.
Big layers.
Not the little ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the Layers of Black History Gala, which is, originally the first 2 years took place on Milton Hershey campus. They have an alumni building. And I just sat back and we outgrew that space. And I thought
immediately.
Yeah. So we've sold out the past 2 years. And this year we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. There's no doubt in my mind. But that event actually allows us to buy books year round, and it also funds scholarships, and we reinvest the money into local businesses. So I make sure all the businesses that are catered, like we always have Miss Marie's, we did Casa de Mofongo.
Yes.
And
Food was so good last year.
Yeah. So we try and go ahead and just tap in and make sure that we are not just walking the walk, or not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. So this year we are once again gonna have a DJ. We are once again gonna have keynotes.
Is it fancy VIP?
That's we're gonna have a little VIP cocktail reception.
A little something. Yeah.
We always have 360 photo booth, who is all, if not the photo booth, but Madonna and Carl always supporting. We are stepping in with video game stations. I'd like to go ahead and truly make this an experience. And the background behind it is in summer of 2021, long story short, my kids and I were walking in the park. I live in Palmyra, and Mariah was 8 and Corey was 5 at the time. And some middle school kids had yelled out and called us the N-word. So I could sit there and fester on that, but I took that moment to educate those children. They had never even heard of the word diversity, and I didn't even get into racism, right? But they had shared that had been spoken to them by their mother, by their sisters, by their in-laws. So to me, how do I go ahead and provide a solution? And how do I go ahead and make sure that the easy button of getting books into different spaces, and that was through events. I love events, so we started it, and now it's gonna be on Saturday, June 15th from 3:30 until 8 p.m. So you can come first, and then they could go to the concert after.
The doors open at 8 for
Yeah.
the concert, so it's perfect.
There's going to be open bar. There's going to be buffet, entertainment, as well as books. And then the opportunity to go ahead and win door prizes. We've been extremely blessed to have some amazing partners, which include the Hershey Company, iHeartRadio Media, Downtown Daily Bread. So just amazing community staples and individuals, and obviously Creation Cuisine with Ms. Marie. So right now, and you're hearing it first, we are going to go ahead and actually right now, because tickets are $90, I'll set up a promotional code tonight where I'll go ahead and give away 10 free tickets. So,
you heard it first here on the Black News Beat, okay?
So because it's not so much about the money, and that promotion actually spurs from a lot of the comments that we saw from the ABC News article about my conference this past week. So I want to invite those individuals into my space, right? Because that's what it is. It's like y'all are now coming into my world and around individuals who may or may not think like you. So I'm actually grabbing coffee with somebody from the comments who had spoken about how black and brown people couldn't be doctors, right? And couldn't be lawyers. I'm like, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's grab coffee, right? And I'll bring my lawyer friends. I'll bring the doctors in my family.
We'll bring our friends.
Yeah, and just have open dialogue, right? Because we are in central Pennsylvania and we acknowledge that we live in a place that's not diverse, right? And we acknowledge that there are ideologies that are going to be combative to who we are, but we have to have these conversations because how else do we grow?
How else do we grow? That's a wonderful place. That's a wonderful place to.
And I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
He always is about to make me cry every 5 seconds. It's very annoying. But I am proud of you, and I want to give you your flowers. You are one of the black men in our community who has risen to the occasion. You've answered the call. You have done the thing that so many feel they can't do. You're inspiring other people. People are aspiring to do what you're doing. And I just want to give you your flowers tonight and say thank you for affecting change in our community in such a beautiful way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very beautiful. Yes. Corey Dupree, everybody. Stick around for, I know you gotta go, but stick around for 5 seconds. And we'll be right back with our next guest.
Call 911. I'm just gonna apply some pressure, okay?
When minutes matter, you have the power to save a life. Learn more at minutesmatter.upmc.com.
My name is Dewan Dixon. I'm known as Juan99, they call me, and I am the founder and CEO of 99 Characters Entertainment. As you know, with the internet TV, Roku has expanded up to 50 million subscribers at the moment, and that's where we give our channel for Try 99 TV for our viewers and for our platform and talents. We host mashups to roasts to puppet shows, community events. We pretty much do everything from touring to local events. We really have a vast majority of different shows. Our content creation group is our collaborative network where we come together as a barter system and we use different companies partnering together and we use that avenue to give each other more for our dreams and our goals.
Okay. Yeah. I am so happy to be back with you. Are you enjoying the show so far? Yes. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Miss Addie. There was only one person who's enjoying the show, apparently. But I'm just kidding. Are the rest of you enjoying the show so far? Okay, great. Thank you. So I want to welcome, we have a first timer to the show and to the guest stage, Mr. Christopher Campbell. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
I am okay. We want to start at the top of the interview and saying that all interviews, or all opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of ourselves. We are not representing any entities except our own personal opinions. We just want to say that as we get into this. So, tell us about you, and we'll get into what we want to talk about. But first, introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Christopher Campbell. I was a teacher for 36 years, and after I was done, I ran for the school board, West Shore School District, and I won. And I have served there for 2 years now. I got 2 more years in my term, and I'll run again coming up here.
All right. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in education over the 30 plus years you taught, and you were all your years in the West Shore School District?
No, I taught a few years in James Buchanan High School out by Chambersburg, a place called Mercerburg. And then when I moved here, I taught in West Shore School District for 33 years.
Wow.
Some at Redland High School for 11, and Circular for 22.
So how many years in education altogether?
Altogether 36.
Wow, 36 years. That's a lot of years.
That's enough.
So there are a lot of current challenges, East Shore, West Shore, around the country in education that have gotten a lot of attention lately, right? And for those who don't know, 200 parents showed up to a school board meeting to protest the firing of the school solicitor and hiring of another law firm. And in layman terms, why is this an important issue that West Shore families, especially those concerned with diversity and inclusion, should be aware of?
Well, the solicitor that we did have was from Stock and Leader, and they're one of the best in the state, if not the best, in educational law. And whenever the solicitor is at the will of the school board, and we elect one every May. And we go through a process called request for proposal. And we were working with the new majority on the board. We were getting along with it, and we thought we were going to send it out to several law firms to see if they want to bid on it and be interviewed. And then at the last minute, I received a phone call that we had hired somebody else. And I'm like, oh, were they interviewed? No. This is the one we want. I was like, well, you want to be a transparent group because we are elected officials and everything we do should be out in the open. And, why are we having a discussion on this? Why are we not having an interview? The people who are going to work with them are the administrators.
Right.
And they should know, what is your expertise? Do you have an expertise in educational law? Do you have expertise in special education?
Absolutely.
And we did not get the answers for that. So that was disturbing.
Okay.
And we had, like you said, about 200 parents come out and they voiced their opinion, and partway through, they tried to gavel them down, said, okay, this is going too long. Come back next week and keep complaining, but we're going to vote on it. I was like, no, that's not the way we do things. Because at the school district level, it's the one chance you have to talk to your elected officials.
Absolutely.
I can't go to Harrisburg and stand up in the gallery and yell down, or they're going to arrest me or something if I do that, or do that to U.S. Capitol or anything else. This is your chance to participate in your government. And we had people who wanted to participate. Just because alphabetically they weren't going to be fitting into their time schedule wasn't fair to them. They didn't finish up that. But as soon as it was done, it's as if they didn't hear them at all.
Wow. So what were some of the parents' objections?
Some of the parents' objections were that, why? Why are we doing this now? They had some concern about a group that had come in to talk to us, the Independence Law Center, and they are much more of a very conservative group. They have been advising other school districts. And it seems they want our school district, any school district to work for, to kind of push the envelope. With LGBTQ plus communities, that was what we heard from a lot. They wanted their kids to be protected and make sure that their rights were heard. And it seemed like if we're going away from this, and again, the Independence Law Center, they said we do things pro bono, which I know anyone tells me you're doing something for free, it's going to cost me money.
It's going to cost you something.
And there are school districts who've put out their policies about bathrooms or like pronouns. You have to call this kid by the pronoun that's on their birth certificate. And I taught for 36 years. And a kid wants me to call them by a nickname or a different name than the one that's printed there. If that makes you feel comfortable, it'll help you to learn and feel comfortable in that space. I have no problem with that. I don't understand trying to pass a policy that would restrict that. And And they've gone to court, and there's different things, and there's school districts that have lost, and they've spent money doing it. It's taxpayer money.
Money losing.
Yeah,
Boy.
and really, with our budgets and stuff, we can't afford just to throw money away on a frivolous lawsuit. And so that's where we're at right now. And just in this past board meeting, it came up because in May, again, is when we traditionally appoint one. Of course, the big hurry was from one board member said, we have to do it for the budget. The solicitor has nothing to do with the budget. We have a treasurer there. She does a fantastic job. She's the one to deal with, not the lawyer.
Interesting.
And I don't know why that excuse was there. And then I asked in May, what did he do for the budget? Well, he answered a lot of questions for me. Well, we have a treasurer here who could do that for you, who has a degree in that and everything, has done several budgets for the years. She's very knowledgeable.
So
Why did you ask her?
Absolutely. So did they end up voting for this solicitor?
Yeah, it was a 5-4 vote.
Wow.
We wanted to open up the process and again, let everybody be involved with it. Our administration staff who's going to be working with this person, we wanted to talk to them. We wanted to ask questions.
Absolutely.
And that was just closed down again.
Wow. And we also heard here on the show about this same law firm causing controversy in Warwick Township as well. What is their end goal? You were saying that they're a little more conservative, but why do they have their hands in Pennsylvania schools?
Yeah, it's just, start out in Central York. They elected someone who was very, very conservative, and they were removing books from the libraries and stuff. And if you go back to Dover 6 years ago, where they tried to put in creationism and teach that at the same time that you're doing evolution, and then they lost that lawsuit. And that was $1 million they spent on that. And I don't have $1 million to throw away. And then out of that, you had this group form.
Oh, I see.
And they're not a little conservative, they're very, very conservative. And they want to make sure their views are the ones that are going to be out there. They see things that aren't there. They say about CRT.
Right.
I mean,
I almost forgot about that. As a matter of fact.
That's one of the things that or diversity. As a West Shore School District, we are a changing district.
Quickly, rapidly.
Yes, and I said I went to school there. My father taught there. It's a different population now, and it's not for the worse or anything. It's great. We have a more diverse group. I mean, I remember growing up as a child during the Vietnam War, where we had kids from Vietnam come in. That was our first experience. Like, wow, there's a different group of people coming in, and they had people from the Balkans come in. We had people who were of Spanish descent. And every decade, it seems we get another influx of people. A lot of people from the Middle East. I've had some fantastic conversations with kids who are from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, all over the area. And it's just an interesting idea. And you learn so much about what else is out there. And for some reason, you said diversity and inclusion. Yeah, it's learning how to educate the children, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And how do you reach them? What's the best way of reaching them? Because different cultures have different ways. You have to learn how to respectfully deal with that.
Absolutely.
And when we have a group, and like I said, a gentleman, a friend of mine said, please tell people this isn't the Cedar Cliff of 50 years ago. We're a much different, much more diverse group now.
Absolutely.
So I've known some great kids there, and I great relationships with all these kids.
Wow.
And in this group, it's for some reason they hear these buzzwords. They see things that happen in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
And you
That's
take,
really
you
what
take
it is.
One thing, and they blow it up. Oh, this is happening everywhere.
It's happening on all four corners of the country, in the middle, the sides, and the back.
I had a person running for the board telling people coming in to vote, they have litter boxes in the classrooms for kids who identify as cats.
What?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I know. And I'm like,
Hold on a second.
I'm like,
Did
no.
y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Did
I'm
y'all
like,
hear what he just said?
Yeah.
There was somebody at the polls telling people that, they have litter boxes in the classrooms for kids who identify as cats.
And trust me, I've been to every single school. I've never seen a litter box.
What?
Yeah, I
That's
know.
the most bizarre thing
know.
I have heard
But,
in a while.
it's a group like that, and they're like, and they tell everybody this is happening all over.
Why?
You know?
Why? I'm sorry.
But,
why was that a thing?
I don't know. But you believe this because I heard it on TV.
Yeah.
Or I read it on the internet.
Yeah.
No, it's not true. And I try to explain to the person, that's not true. Trust me. But
Probably fell on deaf ears a little bit.
yeah.
Well, so what are the next steps for parents of trans kids, kids of color, LGBTQ, migrant families? What kind of next steps are we looking at for families now that we have this new change that seems to maybe not value diversity in the same way?
I would say just keep having your voices heard. For me, it gets tiring when you're keep fighting for what's right. But when you see, like you said, 200 people come out, it makes you feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
It feels like, I am saying, and I have so many people after the meeting, I go out in the crowd and I talk to people. And we were in New Cumberland, they had Earth Day festival, and people walking up to me, I don't even know. Thank you so much for fighting for us. Thank you so much for fighting for my kid. And I'm like, well, thank you. I mean, I'm trying my best here.
Yeah.
So keep having your voices heard. Don't let people drive you down.
Yeah.
You got to make sure they hear you, and maybe it'll sink through finally.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
That's right.
If you don't sit there and talk about what's right, people are going to think nobody cares.
That's right. And they will think nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. This has been a very interesting conversation. Thank you for sharing this perspective with us. I did not know this was going on. We heard about the CV mess with the
speaker.
Yes,
over
with the
there.
speaker and everything. And so things like this. We have a comment. Christopher Cambick should be school board president. I love it. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I think that I want to say thank you for fighting for the kids, especially in a changing district. We know that Cumberland County overall is the fastest growing county in Pennsylvania. It is the voter demographics are changing rapidly. There are so many things changing about Cumberland County, especially West Shore, CV, New Cumberland. These areas on the West Shore, Lemoyne. Camp Hill, these areas are changing so quickly. So it's good to have leaders like you who are trying to stand up for the right thing and do right by the kids. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chris Cambick, everyone. And thank you for giving him that warm Black News Beats welcome. And we'll be right back with our next and final guest. See you in a second.
Are you looking to broaden your skills in digital media creation? Are you looking to be a part of a great team? Well, we need you. The Black News Beat will be trying to fill various positions to help make our show a great success. We'll be looking for tech assistants to help on set. We'll be looking for writers to help write the show every single episode. Also need digital media assistants. Absolutely need some live audience coordinator. We'd love to open up these opportunities to high school and college students. We'd love for you to intern with us and learn more about the business and get your feet wet with a great company at Open Stage. So if you're interested, please let us know. We'll be taking applications via email. You can email us at Kimeka@kimeka.org.
We'll touch on it a tiny bit. Because I think that's part of the reason why you're doing it, and we'll talk about it. Yeah! Well, we are back. We are back with a very illustrious guest who this is his second time on the show, and I am very happy to have him back to talk about his great initiative in the community, Mr. Tone Cook. Yeah. Very good job.
Thank you for having me.
This audience just loves you, and so do I. I am happy to have you back because you have been one of the men, and I want to emphasize men tonight, in the community who has really taken it seriously about, one, being a community, being together and being in community with others. And then two, and we'll talk a little bit about this since we kind of just were whispering about it, about doing things to stop the violence. We just did a rally together on this.
Yes, we did.
Right?
Yes,
So
we did.
let's start there. Let's talk about your initiatives with stopping violence and why that's, and you talked a little bit about this on the show. Tell us how the rally was, tell us how the march was, and then we'll keep going from there.
Oh, the march was beautiful. The march was beautiful, but it wouldn't have came together without the help of you and the help of others and those who are really like trying to be a part of change.
That's right.
Coming together and trying to do something different for our city and especially our youth, because you know everything's mainly falling on the youth.
Yeah.
Everything's falling on the youth. Our youth are dying. And, parents are burying their children before you know they're even gone. So the march is very great, though. I think we had a powerful impact. We touched a lot of people, and I believe you know we could have been. It could you would never know. It could be that we saved somebody's life.
Absolutely right.
So being as though it's a lot of stuff still going on, we can't stop everything, but I think that we made a powerful impact.
Absolutely. We were just talking about what happened last night.
Yeah. It's sad to say, you know, it just don't stop, but we can try to curb and, you know, try to slow it down.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we can never stop, but we can try.
We can try, and we have to keep trying.
Yeah.
And so that's a great segue. So you've done, we're here to talk about your Father's Day cookout as well.
Yes.
And this is one of the things that you really have been doing. This is your third one? Fourth one?
The fourth.
Fourth one.
Yeah, the fourth.
And you have been doing this in the community to provide something good for the community to do. Tell us about your journey with that. This is the fourth one, and that's amazing, and it's bigger than ever.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
See, I always like to talk about how it started first.
I like that.
You know, my father, well, we can go back to, you know, my father wasn't there for me and my brother, you know, in our earlier days, earlier stages, you know, because my father had a drug addiction that he was dealing with. So it caused him to be out of our lives. And my brother Mike ended up losing his life, you know, being shot in the face by a friend of his and died on a porch in Hall Manor. So my father came up, along with others, my grandmother, a couple friends of his, with the Father's Day cookout to give back to our community and bring people together. And also let the fathers know that, you know, even if you couldn't be there before, it's still something that you can do to change and impact somebody else's life. So my father eventually, you know, he stopped doing it after years, bringing people together and having a good time. But in my brother's name and you know, carry on my father's legacy, I decided to pick it up. So when I picked it up now, this will be the fourth year going strong, and we have grown and got bigger and bigger. And I believe that this year, this will be the first time that me and my father has really got to do it and be there together the first time. So I think that's just big and a blessing in itself to keep that going.
That is very exciting. That's wonderfully exciting.
Yeah.
And what makes this cookout really special? How is it different from other cookouts that are happening Father's Day weekend?
There's many reasons why it's different. For one, I'm carrying on a legacy. Two, I'm doing it with my father. Three, we're bringing more people together, not just fathers and children. We're bringing families together, and that just in itself is like a powerful impact. When you can bring people together, people that like may have had differences along the way. But if you could bring them together, then also bring different people together so that they interact with one another and build that strong ball of unity, I think that's just a big blessing in itself.
Absolutely
so,
right.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about reconciliation. You said your father wasn't there for you when you were younger, but you guys are pretty close now. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. See, that's another thing that I want to speak on too. I'm glad you asked that because I'm gonna speak on myself. When I was younger, I never thought that me and my father would be the way that we are now. My father's like my best friend. So, so for those fathers out there who haven't had the chance to be in their children's life, there's always that hope. There's always that hope that you can bridge that, because me and my father, we weren't like we were now, but now we're like the best of friends, inseparable. So if you're a father out there and you think that, you know, you have no more chance of making things right with your children, you can scratch that off, because there's always a chance. As long as you're still breathing and they're still breathing, there's always a chance to seal that up. So you just got to give it that shot.
I love that. I love that. Tell us a little bit more. Tell us tell us all about the details of the event and what people can expect. Because there's a lot. I went to a planning meeting and it's gonna be hype.
It's gonna be nice, man. We'll have 2 bouncy houses, face painting, free food, free drinks, petting zoo for the children, jump rope competition. A lot of local performers, local artists is performing. Even we'll have some spoken word out there. Also, man, the list goes on. We got a flag football tournament. So it goes on and on. We'll have a couple guest speakers to speak about the things that's going on in our communities, including myself, as to why we should be bringing more people together instead of, and I don't want to sound, you know, instead of continuing just meeting up in funerals, or when bad things are happening in our communities, we need to start getting together and bringing things like this together so that we can meet up when it's good times.
That's right.
So that's what we got to look forward to.
I love it. I'm very excited about it. And what it's on Father's Day this year?
Yes, June 16th from 1 to 7 p.m. 100 Hanover Place.
100 Hanover Place.
That's the
Got
address.
it.
100 Hanover Place. Yep. From 1 to 7, we'll have 2 live DJs, DJ Big Mike, DJ Reese, host Miss Nika, Thomas Johnson, Mr. One for Backyard Comedy. We'll have a lot of vendors coming out too. So all is welcome, no matter where you're from, color your skin, your background, the life you live. Come on out, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, and enjoy family.
I love that. I love it so much. I'm very excited about the event. If people want to vend, if they want to be a part in another way, how can they get in contact?
If you want to, just contact myself or Cache Woodward on social media, Facebook, or you can contact us through Michael's Memory Push at gmail.com.
Michael's Memory Push at gmail.com.
Yeah, you can contact us there if you want to be a vendor. Everything is free of charge. Free of charge. You just make sure that you contact us, and we'll have you down, because we won't be accepting too many more vendors, but it's still open for a few more.
Fantastic. Fantastic work, Tone. I'm excited to celebrate. You'll be seeing, we're posting all his stuff with our Juneteenth stuff. We'll have it up at the concert. Yes. So we just want you guys to come out and enjoy the day and be with your families, be with your community, and really make it pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Tone. We're going to make it pop. We're going to make it pop. Thank you, Tone. Great job. And we'll be right back with Last Lap. We're almost out of here, though. Thank you.
Call 911. I'm just gonna apply some pressure, okay?
When minutes matter, you have the power to save a life. Learn more at minutesmatter.upmc.org.
want to say thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope you were inspired. We had an all-male interviews tonight, and the men really did drop some gems. Thank you guys for everything you guys are also doing in the community. There are so many shout outs to give. Thank you to our guests tonight. Don't forget to download your tickets from JuneteenthHBG.com so that we know you're coming. We have a slate of wonderful, wonderful guests and musical artists. Please download your tickets, JuneteenthHBG.com, JuneteenthHBG.com. And as I say every show, love on yourselves. Be kind to yourselves, because when other people can't do it, you got to be able to do it for yourself. And clap for yourselves. It's a wonderful show tonight. And I will see you out here in these community streets. Good night. See you in 2 weeks.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism.